Bring the heart.
It's time to get loud.
Let's go! Because this is Betfred Super League.
Bring it on.
Got me here. It took a big chunk out of me. Bleeding. It's bleeding. Oh no, it's bleeding. The thing just ripped my ear off. What do you think?
Hello everyone and welcome along once again to Rugby League's finest, Eddie and Stevo, the podcast, sponsored and supported as always by our friends at Betfred. This, would you believe, is our 50th edition of the podcast. Thanks to all of you for your support from day one. As ever, it's good to have you and Stevo along for another ride. So Stevo, a landmark edition this, and what a flipping week. Such a lot to get through. Starting, Stevo, with the first coaching casualty of the season. Richard Agar has left the Leeds Rhinos, but I must say he went with dignity this week, didn't he?
Certainly did. And I'm glad that he pulled the plug rather than Leeds say, you're not good enough. I am so pleased at the way that he's handled himself. He's a perfect gentleman. We know he's a damn fine coach. Simple as that. And he made it quite clear that he thought that they needed a new voice. In other words, that he'd lost the players. And good luck to him. I wish him all the best for the future. But who is going to take over? Richard has said they need a new voice. Well, I've heard all these people have applied for it. I think there's about a dozen have said that they're in for it and this, that and the other. But the trouble is, they're not new voices, are they?
No, let's go down the list because, and I think, Richard is going to have some say in who takes over from him because it has been announced this week by Gary Hetherington that Agar will stay on at the club in some as yet unnamed capacity. Now, that could easily be director of rugby. And if that's the case, Richard will have a big voice himself in who takes over.
Well, they've made that quite clear, Leeds. And I know that Richard told me that this was going to be his final coaching situation at Leeds, and he was going to go upstairs. That is not an exclusive. That has been known for quite some time now. So whoever they select, he probably has to have a little bit of a say in the fact.
I would think so. I mean, at the moment, Jamie Jones-Buchanan is the interim head coach, which I presume means that we won't be seeing JJB on Sky for the foreseeable future, but let's wait and see. The other candidates that have come out this week, Danny Ward, who of course is a former Leeds player. He left London Broncos last year. He's been looking for a new job ever since. Ellery Hanley, Kevin Sinfield himself, Danny Maguire, Sean Wayne, and a couple of candidates from Australia, as I've read, Shane Flanagan, and the hot favourite that they're tipping down under, Stevo, Ryan Carr, the former Featherstone coach. He took Fev to the £1 million game when he worked there, and he worked with Richard Agar. And for the last few seasons, or a couple of seasons, he's been at Parramatta coaching their New South Wales Cup team. Is Ryan Carr the man that you would tip?
I think you'd have to say spot on, mainly due to the fact what we're just talking about, that they need a new voice. And he's certainly a new voice there. Okay, he's got a damn fine CV. And it wouldn't surprise me if they go for it.
Well, those names that I've mentioned, I don't think any of them have actually thrown their hat into the ring. It's come from media speculation. But Ryan Carr is certainly the hot tip in Australia. Stevo, when Super League clubs part company with their coach, do they have to look down under?
I think they have to, Eddie. I think you've got to... Look, we can't avoid the fact that the NRL is a damn fine product. And from that product, you get good coaches. We've done it for years. We've seen so many Australians come over here. And the most amazing thing is that most of the Australians that have come over the last, say, 30 years has been the fact that they were only reserve grade coaches. I think the Wigan coach, John Money, was the one and only coach that was actually coaching first team down under.
I'm just concerned for the wannabe British coaches who would love a crack at Super League. The assistant coaches here, why they want to be a head coach, by the way, I don't know, because as an assistant, okay, you're not on the big money, but you have got a job for life. That aside, I'm just concerned the wannabe British coaches are not getting a chance.
Well, it's difficult to sort of analyse that sort of situation. I know that way back in the 60s and 70s, when I was playing, the first grade coach would pick someone who offered no threat. So it was a case of, well, I know he's not as good as me, so I'll make him a reserve grade coach. Of course, that's all changed now. And the interaction between Australia and the UK has been going on for quite some time. And let's face it, a lot of the overseas, especially from New Zealand as well, a lot of the overseas coaches that came up have been very, very successful. So you can't sort of say that Leeds will just deny anybody from down under.
No, I understand that. Whoever takes over, Stevo, whoever it is, comes into a pressure cooker situation, because Gary Hetherington himself has said Leeds is one of the most demanding jobs in Super League. And for goodness sake, this year they have never been out of the spotlight.
So I'm sure that didn't help all the Leeds fans being able to sort of, because everyone that's a rugby league fan would be saying, criticising and saying, oh, Leeds are down in the dumps. Oh, their players are no good and this, that and the other. It's lovely, especially with this, shall we say the media. The media gets involved, and boy, oh boy, you've just mentioned all those former coaches. Perhaps none of them have actually made an approach to Leeds. Maybe they have, I don't know, but I doubt it.
Well, this is it. All right, that was one shock for 2022. The other came about hours earlier when Toulouse did the unthinkable. They beat top of the table, all-conquering St. Helens. Now, we said last week when Catalan beat Wigan, that was the result of the season. This, Stevo, Toulouse beating Saints, is the result of the century.
I was shocked. In fact, I was that shocked. I had to open a bottle of wine and to sort of settle myself down. And talking of settling things down, boy, Toulouse, they have thrown one heck of a curveball to all those clubs at the bottom of the Super League table. Now, before, everyone, including myself, was saying there's no way in the world Toulouse will perhaps win a game the entire season. They lost some of their better players, but boy, they have come back with a bounce. And let's not forget that Wigan only beat them with a 1-point drop goal down in Toulouse. So those clubs who are nestling in the bottom half of Super League, they will not relish now going down to the south of France.
Well, they won't. And Christian Wolff, the St. Helens coach, is quoted as saying he was surprised and disappointed by casual St. Helens. They were well off the mark. And they were well off the mark. This is an amazing statistic. They've conceded 28 points, that's all, in 5 games so far this year. They go to Toulouse, they concede 22. 22 in one match. Incredible.
I'll tell you what didn't surprise me, though, after sort of analysing things. This is a good kick up the backside that the coach and the St. Helens players need, because I was one of them. Would they go through the entire season without being beaten? A lot of people were saying that. They were just so dominant throughout the start of this Super League season. And now there's a little bit of a wobble on. And that could be a good advantage for the Saints, because then they say, right, we obviously didn't prepare ourselves well mentally. Physically, yes. Mentally, perhaps no. But they've got that out of the way now. St. Helens didn't want to have a result like that when they're coming up to, say, the Challenge Cup final or the playoffs of Super League. Get that out of the way. Good kick up the backside. Sometimes they need it.
Well, they, to be fair to them, never spoke about going through the season unbeaten. We all did, of course. We've all been tipping that. No question.
We always do. That's our job, Eddie. That's our job.
That is our job. It is our job. But I've been thinking, I mean, I know Saints lost twice, I think, in 2019 to the London Broncos in Super League when they went to London with an understrength side. Honestly, looking back to 1996, I cannot remember a more seismic result than this. Toulouse, seemingly, allegedly, gone, done, busted for the year, beating the team, sitting 100% at the top. Can you? I can't remember anything like this before.
No, you're right. And you're old enough to know about all those things, Eddie. You've been around. But I think what will shake some of the other clubs down in the doldrums of the Super League table is the fact that this is not just a fluke, is it? Because they could have beaten Wigan. Remember, Wigan only got that field goal to make sure that they won by 1 point. So this is not just a one-off. It could have been a two-off. And as I say, all those clubs will be frightened to get on that plane and go down and play in Toulouse.
It's a wake-up call for Leeds and Castleford, who are down there on 2 points with them. We will see how it all progresses. Now, look, the other big talking point of the week so far, Will Price of Huddersfield. He gets a 10-match ban for a dangerous throw on Connor Wynne against Hull. Wasn't it a dangerous throw? It was a shocker. And the lad, 19, he's going to have to take his medicine, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and look, he'll realise what he did was wrong. It was exceptionally dangerous. Thankfully, right, Connor Wynne got up from that tackle. It could have been worse. It could have been someone in a wheelchair, or even more drastic than that. And I think the 10-game ban has made it quite clear to all the players and all the coaches, you just cannot do these things on the field of play.
I think that was an accident, Stevo, to be fair. I don't think it was a deliberate act. It was a mistimed, badly organised tackle. I don't think he went out, lift Connor Wynne in such a manner and bang him down on his neck.
I agree.
I can't really believe that.
No. I agree. It was one of those things where, your adrenaline going through, you're pumped up at this, that, and the other. It was just that, to turn him round and then drive him to the ground, it's dangerous. And I know quite a few people who have had tackles like that, and they're in a wheelchair. I just shivered when I saw the highlights of that. And I'm thinking, as you said, Eddie, this is a lesson, not just for Price, but from everyone who is playing the game of rugby league at any level. Don't do that. No,
it was a horror tackle. But he is one of 5 players suspended this week. Leeds, Zane Tetivano, Mitchell Pearce of Catalan. They've got 2 matches each. Brad Martin, 2 for the high shot on Willie Isa. And fair play to Isa, he didn't complain. He bounced straight back up. Jack Hughes of Warrington also is suspended for the Challenge Cup this week. Now, Wigan beat Castleford, helped by that red and the yellow cards in their game. No quarrel with Brad Martin's red. What about Mane Fanua's tackle, Stevo? The late challenge. I mean, he couldn't pull out of that. I think he was harshly treated.
Yeah. I was surprised that he got the yellow card. But they're only human. They can make mistakes, and obviously they did. And it's interesting to note that all the coaches are meeting up to sort out this, shall we say, heavy-handed disciplinary clampdown. These coaches who are experienced, they want to know what's happening. Well, I tell you what's happening. Just look at the disciplinary committee saying, how long do we have to keep doing this for you, coaches and players, to stop head-eye tackles? To stop bringing back the biff. It's just, I just can't believe that we need to have a meeting. Why do they have to have a meeting? Just look at the videotapes of every single one of those that have got 2, 3, and a 10-match suspension. What do they want to talk about?
Well, they want to talk about the protocol, I think. That's what they want to talk about.
The protocol's there, Eddie. They've proved it with giving them out 10 matches. Now, if that doesn't send a shiver down every player's back, I don't know what will. And I'm saying, what are they going to do? And just say, right, in effect, all us coaches, we want to find out what's happening with referees. Why are you clamping down? And I'm thinking, do they have to be taken into a room to be explained what's happening? It's out there on on the television. That's all you got to do is watch that. This is the reason it's a clampdown. We don't want to bring back the biff.
No, we don't. But the fact of the matter is, while Castleford suffered with the yellow card on Mahe Fanua, right, 3 tries were run in by Wigan. We've already said it was a harsh yellow. It's a referee's interpretation. I understand that. We've already said it was harsh yellow. Once he came back, even though Martin was sent off later on, the game was done. Done and dusted and finished. And there's your problem.
Yeah, well, it's human beings, isn't it? That is one occasion where they got it wrong, right? What about all those people that have been suspended since the start of this season? Did the disciplinary committee get that wrong? No. You've got one instance whereby the referee made a mistake, as against all the others that have been suspended. Did they say, oh, it was a mistake? Look, Rugby Union have addressed this situation a few years ago. Anything that looks like over the shoulder, they get penalised. Simple as that. They've had to accept it. So why can't our game of rugby league accept it?
Okay, Stevo, look, we'll park our conversation there for just a couple of minutes because I've got the one and only Barrie McDermott waiting to talk to us. At the weekend, Baz was crowned the king of the dance floor at a special event held at Headingley in aid of the motor neurone disease charity. It was a Strictly Come Dancing special, and Barry only went off and waltzed away with the glitter ball first prize. Fabulous. Tell us all about it.
I had no idea what that theme music was till about 3 months ago. We had an absolutely brilliant night, and the phone call came just before Christmas, and it was a text. Sorry, I'll correct myself. It was a text from Rob and Lindsay. What are you doing on the 19th of March? And like a fool, I went nothing, without the most important question: why? And she went, and they were like, oh, we were going to put this Strictly Come Dancing thing. We want you to do it. And I said, oh my God, can't I run 7 marathons in 7 days or 101 miles in 24 hours? Is there anything else I can do? So no, 3 months of, I'd have to say graft, because the first, you know better than me, Ed, dancing's just a completely different thing, and the coordination you need, the attention to detail, because in our job, most of the time, we're just making it up, aren't we? We have our reference, but we're just making it up. But that had to really apply myself. So, in summary, I really, really enjoyed the night itself, although it was after midnight when I actually got on. So,
oh, blimey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Late night. Listen, they always ask on Strictly when it all finishes, are you going to carry on dancing, Baz? Are you going to get Jenny up on the floor anytime soon?
Well, unfortunately, I officially announced my retirement from competitive dancing. I've had a word with my agent, and they reckon it's best to just go out at the top.
Very wise.
The thing that I've got to sort out now is it's the opposite to you, actually. My hair is jet black now, and I have to try and get it back to the salt and pepper that I normally have. Because Jenny, as you know, is a hairdresser, and she put the semi-permanent Michael Jackson jet black colour on my hair.
That's right, because you danced to Thriller, didn't you? Which coincidentally is Rob Burrow's favourite song.
Yeah, he's a big Michael Jackson fan, obviously. Everybody who knows Rob knows that about him. And I wanted to do something that was special for him. As soon as I agreed to do it, I wanted it to be just for him, special for him. So he's been mithering me for weeks. Can I have a video? Let me see what you're up to. And I kept knocking him back. And even on the day when we turned up to do our little run through, our little captain's run on the dance floor, he was there. And I said, no, you need to go. You can't see what I'm dancing to. And Joanne, his sister, sent me a lovely little video of when I first walked in and I started doing all the thriller routine, all the thriller moves. So yeah, I'll keep that on my phone and enjoy that forever.
I bet you will. Now, the aim, obviously, was not only to get you on the dance floor, but was to raise a lot of money for MND. Your aim, your specific aim, was £7,777 for obvious reasons. How much was raised in the end, and how much did you get?
Well, the target was 100 grand for Joanne and Claire, his sisters, and I don't think they're too far away from that.
Wow!
I asked them for an updated figure. They were over 70 something, and they still had some stuff to come in. And as you know, the people connected with Rob are always really, really generous. The people that hear his story and just connect with him really, because he's that type of lad. So mine ended up being 9 and a bit. So I, I'd be delighted to get somewhere near my number, somewhere near 10. But I've done now. I'm fed up of begging and asking people for money and time, and for them to do things for free. So I might. What I might do is I might look at me Michael Jackson Thriller coat, which was actually the best fitting coat I've ever bought in my life. We bought it on the internet from China, and I'm thinking of keeping it. Actually, I'm thinking of wearing it on a night out. Jenny's not so keen, but yeah, I'm thinking I might do something with that and try and earn a bit more and finish on 10 if I can.
Good. Oh, well, why don't you wear it on a Thursday or a Friday night on the telly? I mean, that would really put the tin lid on it, wouldn't it?
Yeah, O'Connor's already been on. O'Connor's got it all planned now. Although he was full of it, Ed. We know him, don't we? He was full of it. Yeah. He was Mickey taking like you wouldn't believe until after the event, and he watched it. And obviously, I'm a rugby lad, and I'm a competitive so and the sportsman in me were like, right, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it proper. And if I'm going to do it proper, I'm going to go and I'm going to win. Which I've been telling them for weeks. Him and Carney have been giving me. I've been saying, you'll be laughing on the other side of your face when I walk in with the trophy. And sure as eggs is eggs, I've got the trophy now. So I'm looking forward to seeing the smile upside down on their faces.
Excellent. Well, take it into the studio and ensure that it is sat there on the desk when next you're in. That's a must. Listen, talking about that, they must have sent a camera there. Surely they must have wanted to feature you.
Yes, there is a link, and I think there's a donation where you can watch, and it went on for hours, and not because it was a long night, because it was boring. There was just so much stuff. Dan Walker, who was on Strictly, did an exhibition with Nadia, his partner, his dance partner, and then Rob's daughter did a routine, and there was so much going on, and we had 4 tables, friends and family, and Tez was there with his family, and they had a thoroughly enjoying night. I've even got a video of Tez dancing, and he hadn't had a drop. He was driving, and he was up dancing. So there must have been something in the air.
I think you've inspired him. You've inspired him.
Oh, without a doubt. He doesn't like me having anything that he hasn't got. So yeah, you see what happens next.
So go on. There is a link, and people can donate on this link as well, can they? I'm sure. I
think it's a £5, and you get obviously the link, and you can watch the full night, the full 4 hours or whatever it was. So they're going to keep going and keep raising money, but it's out there, Ed. And like everyone keeps saying to me, is there any video evidence of this dance? And it's absolutely everywhere. So I'm not going to be escaping this one for a while, I don't think.
Good. And your partner, no broken toes, no?
No, Dawn was great. I'm really lucky. There's a dance school in Oldham, well, Shaw actually, where Yestin Harris is born and bred, called Mad for Dance, and they were fantastic with me. And Dawn, for every one lesson we had, we sort of did another 2 where me and her just met and just kept going over it for an hour. So Dawn were really good. No, she was thrilled to bits. She enjoyed it as much as anybody, and she's a competitive dancer. So yeah, she's got no broken toes and no after effects of dancing with me.
Brilliant. Look, I can't let you go without just talking a little bit of rugby league to you before we get back to Stevo. What about this win for Toulouse on Saturday against St Helens? Where's that come from?
Well, I did pick it actually, and I'm not being
I'm
not being a
come on.
smarty pat. I did honestly. I said to and I was with John Wilkin. We were on a commentary for a match, and I said, "Do you know who's going to beat St Helens? It's going to be themselves that end up being the reason that they've lost. They'll get to one of those lower end sides, and they'll not apply themselves because every time they need to step forward, every time they need to produce the goods, they're better than anybody else." And I think it's a desperate shame we don't have the World Club Challenge yet, because I think
Me too.
I'm certain they would have beaten Penrith because they're such a good side. They play at such a high intensity in defence, which is what the game is based on over in Oz. I think they'd have won, but I did say to Wilco, I said, I can see Toulouse being the game that they don't get the win, because I reckon they'll rest a lot of players, and they had a couple of suspensions as well, and they'll just go over there and think it's a formality. And it's not that they've got a poor attitude or anything like that. It's just human nature. You just can't keep that level of focus and concentration up for 9-10 months, whatever the Super League season is. So yeah, I'm pleased for Toulouse. I am a big banger of the drum of Toulouse and Catalan and those two French sides. I'm delighted that they're both in. We're not quite there yet, are we? We're still working it all out and trying to work out how to get the best of it. I wish we'd have made some little rule, and I heard you and Stevo discussing it at the beginning of the year. I wish they'd have made a rule and safeguarded Toulouse, because the first season is always the hardest. So just like Catalan did, I wish they'd have given 3 years grace just to put those foundations in to make sure they're not in and out like we've seen with Celtic Crusaders and Toronto and some of these other sides.
I know. It will be a shame if they go down, but hey, who knows what this win will do for them. Look, we could talk for hours about this next topic. I want you just to deal with it briefly. We've got this meeting with the RFL and the clubs this week about the disciplinary crackdown. If you can, just briefly, and I know it's a hell of a topic, briefly sum up your view about the way things have gone so far, because I know you're not happy.
No, it is my view, but I reckon I've got a good voice. I reckon I've got a good base of people. I obviously talk to everybody at the elite level. I've still got players in the game playing that I coached. I've got friends who are coaches and everybody around. And, I regularly am involved at grassroots level on weekends with my amateur club. Nobody's happy. Nobody's enjoying where they are at the minute. And unfortunately, there's probably 70, 80, 90%, it could be that high, that look at it and say, I just don't like what it looks like. It's just not right. You're rewarding players who try and con the system and fake it. And I don't like that. I never have. And what you're doing is you're making it really difficult for referees to try and use their interpretation and understanding of feel for a game. Some of them can feel a game. Some of them can, and they just hide behind the black and white of the rules. But I think what we've got to do is just say, right, that is a penalty. And at the minute, we've got a yellow card, a red card, and not much in between. And what I'd like to see is one before the yellow card, one after the yellow card in between yellow and red, and just try and create something that's a little bit better to watch. There are some people that say, we're going in the right direction and we're going the way that Union is. And I think we've got to come away from that. We couldn't be any further different than Union, and let's celebrate that. Let them do what they're doing. I watched the England-Ireland game, Ed, where in the first 83 seconds, a man got sent off for what I could see was just unavoidable. So let's come a different way from them. Let's try and separate ourselves away from them and be who we are, and that's a physical collision, high contact sport. And if it's a red card, it's a red card. Send them off like they did in the Catalan-Wigan game.
Fair enough. Always great to get your view, Barry. Always lovely to talk to you, of course. Next challenge, what is it? To stay sober this week while you're at your sumptuous Spanish villa?
Well, that could be a challenge in itself. I'm just enjoying a little bit of sun. Do you know what? I've had to actually come in because it's just getting a little bit tingly on my shoulders at the minute. So I need to apply some more sun cream. So no, just having a break. looking forward to the cup this weekend. I think I'll go and watch the Rhinos and see what that produces because it's interesting times up at Headingley at the minute.
Isn't
But
it?
in regards to challenges, I'll look at something at the end of the year. I know the OBE has got something planned, so I'll see what I can do to help Kevin and maybe even do one in between them. But yeah, just having a rest for a minute, letting my toes and my heels and my Achilles calm down because my God, them Cuban heels, they do some damage.
I bet they
like
do.
walking on stilts.
Barry, just give us your Just Giving page details if anyone wants to get onto it and donate to you yourself and get you over that £10,000.
Well, it's Just Giving. Barrie McDermott Just Giving, and my Rob Burrow one is Barrie McDermott Dancing Queen. I thought you'd like that, Ed.
Love it. You're the dancing queen of rugby.
Oh, yeah.
God
I've embraced
bless you.
lots of new things in the last couple of years, Ed, and this has been it's been a real highlight. I've enjoyed it, but I'm glad to put it in the box and move on and do something different. So thanks for your support, Ed, and give my love to the beast.
I will. We'll be talking to him in a few seconds. Always good to talk, Baz, and the Dancing Queen. Barry, the Dancing Queen. Remember that. Thanks for talking to us, Baz.
Cheers, pal. Ta-da.
So, well done to Barrie McDermott. A truly fantastic performance. He's already had a call, Stevo, from Tess Daly to join the next series of Strictly. He actually featured on the ITV morning show Lorraine this week as well. He was mentioned by Lorraine on national telly. This is a great achievement for him. He's a big lad. He's a big prop forward. He's light on his feet, though. It was a fantastic performance. Two of them got 50 out of 50 points. So they were faultless as well, two of the other contestants. Okay? Barry got 51. Somebody give him 11 out of 10. He doesn't do anything by halves, Barry. He does not do anything by halves.
There's one thing I know about Barry. He would have given 110% because that's what he got, 11 out of 10. So 110% to ensure that he won. He's one of the most competitive people I have ever experienced.
Absolutely. And he's come home with the glitter ball, which I hope we'll see on telly very short. Listen, talking about all this reality TV, didn't you get a call to join I'm a Celebrity? Get me out of here some time ago. Is that right? Or were you pulling my leg?
That's new to me, Eddie.
You told me. You told me you had the call.
Oh, that was many, many years ago, Eddie. The reason why I turned it down, Eddie, is I'm frightened of spiders.
Oh,
now they scare me to death.
Anyway, well done, Baz. It was a fantastic effort. Right, back to the game itself. We've talked about the coaches meeting this week. We've talked about the clampdown again. Let's have a look at what's happening in Australia. Talking about clampdowns and bans, Jackson Hastings banned. Michael Maguire under pressure. I wonder if there's another name going to Leeds. Michael Maguire. Ex-Hull star Albert Kelly impressing at Brisbane. Josh Hodgson, another knee injury. Is that the end of Josh Hodgson, Stevo?
Sadly, I think that might be the case. This will be his third knee operation for the ACL. And I'm not right sure whether... Look, he leaves Canberra at the end of this season, joins the Parramatta Eels for the 2023 season. I'm not so sure maybe Parramatta will be all that sort of keen to perhaps keep him on that contract. I mean, he's 32 years of age now. He's a fantastic player. He gives 100%, always has done. And that's the reason why the Eels wanted to sign him, because they still thought that he had something to give into the game of rugby league. But when you look at having a third knee operation on your ACL at 32 years of age, I hope he can get through it. I really do. Because he's that type of character. If there's anybody that can say, right, I can beat this and get back to full fitness, is Josh Hodgson.
I just wonder if it's a blow to England's hopes, because Josh Hodgson would surely have been a contender for the hooking role in the World Cup, wouldn't he?
I would have suggested so, yes. I'm sure that Sean Wayne would have penciled him in because of the experience. And it wouldn't surprise me if they perhaps may have given him even the vice-captaincy.
Anything else in Australia that's caught your eye? As I say, Albert Kelly is impressing, isn't he? And what about Michael Maguire? Do you think there's a possibility he'll get on the plane and come back up to the Northern Hemisphere?
Well, who knows? Because he's under a lot of pressure there at West Tigers. But Tim Sheens, as we all know, is in charge of the football organisation, and he's made it quite clear yesterday that there's no pressure on Maguire, that we will still keep him. It's just that they just have not been hitting the high spots. I mean, they got hammered at Newcastle, 26-4, and something that has come out of that, they're not playing well. They haven't had a win this season, and evidently someone has spotted two of the West Tigers players was in one of the largest pubs in Newcastle after 10 o'clock, not drinking, but playing the poker machines. Now, the club has said, well, there's nothing really in that, what he wanted to do, to suspend it. But a lot of the West supporters said, well, shouldn't they be locked up in bed or whatever after 10 o'clock? We don't know who was taking this video, but it's quite obvious. And the club has said, look, Dane Laurie and James Roberts, we don't feel they're doing anything wrong.
Of course they were.
Maybe they won the jackpot. Maybe that's...
Jealousy. Yeah, it's a great song. Jealousy.
You never know. But also that caught my eye, Eddie, is this centre Farnworth. I mean,
yes.
he's in top form for the Brisbane Broncos. Yeah, he scored 2 good tries in the win over Canterbury. And I'm just sort of wondering, all the publicity in Australia is, will this Pom, as they call us, will this Pommy be selected by Sean Wayne and be brought into the England squad for the World Cup? And why not? He's a very, very classy player.
He is, and if he's ripping it up in Australia, I'm sure that he is on the radar for the England coach. Look, before we go, we've got a couple of sad pieces of news to reflect upon. First of all, David Stevenson, the former Wigan and Great Britain centre, he sadly passed away in the last week. And our old friend Dave Hadfield, the independent rugby league correspondent, he has gone as well. Now, I know you've got some stories about Dave Hadfield, haven't you?
I certainly have. But first of all, rest in peace, David Stevenson. Indeed. What a fine player. He was extremely classy. He had a beautiful way he could just sort of sidestep, and then he had a wonderful dummy, and he was a difficult man to stop. But yeah, it's been a sad week. As you mentioned, Dave Hadfield, a very close friend of mine, a wonderful journalist, and had a sense of humour that was unique. I think I have to say that. I can remember when he came on we did a charity walk from the East Coast all the way across to the West Coast. And after the first 2 days, he just said, I don't think I can do it. I pulled him to one side and I said, look, we don't have to race. That it's not a race. We can take our time. And I've looked, we couldn't go on the motorway. We had to go on the A roads or B roads to get through. And I said to him, I've checked out, there's over 50 pubs, David, on our trek. And I said, maybe we could just pop in and have the odd ale from time to time. And he looked at me, he ruffled his beard and said, do you know, I feel a lot better already. He was a great man,
great character, he really was, and a wonderful, wonderful writer. He's written books, and he's, of course, been in the Independent as well. He worked with us on Sky Sports, didn't he, as well, of choosing the man of the match. I will never forget the day at Odsal, Bradford against Hull. We went down to him for his Man of the Match award. Sean Briscoe had scored 4 tries, and we looked at each other and thought, this is it. Sean Briscoe's going home with the Man of the Match award. And it was a Tissot watch in those days, as I remember. So it was a decent prize. And he gave the Man of the Match to the Kiwi hooker, Richard Swain. He got it. And we looked at each other and we couldn't believe what we just heard.
Listen, Dave could pick out someone who worked really hard. And the hooker obviously worked very, very hard.
he must have worked hard that day.
If a bloke scores 4 tries, you've got to give it the man of the match. And that's how it was. Listen, when he wrote anything in the papers, in magazines or whatever, he never told a porky pie. He was always truthful.
Yeah, very honest bloke. And he obviously honestly thought that the hooker, Richard Swain, won the watch that day, and he did. So rest in peace, David Stevenson and the great writer, Dave Hadfield. Right, Stevo, this is a milestone edition. This is the 50th edition of Eddie and Stevo, the podcast. Now, I've got a bottle here, and I'm now going to open it, and I'm going to pop a cork to you and our podcast. Here we go. There we are. The corks are out, Stevo. Cheers, old boy. Cheers.
Never mind cheers. You've got the damn bottle. I've got nothing down here.
You've got a nice bottle of Prosecco somewhere. You're a Prosecco man. I'm a champagne boy. That's fair enough.
Yeah, you've always been posh.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, 51 next week. We'll see you then.
Take care.